Alright, so I finally finished this a while ago actually, and I just sort of forgot to record it. But the level is textured, a lot of bug fixes, and then some things have their missing effects. So I've already shown off the level, so I guess I'll just talk about what the purpose of this was. I wanted to see if I could make a game sort of all by myself where I do pretty much everything. So everything you see on screen is mine except for the level textures. These are all from some like free pack. So I did the models. Believe it or not, these aren't professionally made. Most of the animations, actually the ogres are using Mixamo stuff because he was the first thing I did. But I learned a lot from this project, and I just think it's kind of cool, even if it's not particularly fun. Oh, I forgot to make this a spawn zone. So I did the physics. It's just you're an oval and you sort of slide and project along walls. It's based off that one really popular paper everybody talks about. Um, When you're shooting raycast, it shoots it against an axis line bounding box, which has the same dimensions as your oval, or ellipse, not oval. So that allows it to do really fast raycasting. So right now the FPS is capped just because it runs too fast, and when the delta time gets too small, there's problems with movement, and things will start jittering a little bit. One of the things I did that I'm kind of proud of is this particle system. You pass a list of emitters to the GPU, and then a list of integers of how many particles each thing should make. Although I should try and do all of that on the GPU, it might be slightly faster. But it'll just shoot out a bunch of particles, and then once the emitter's done, it'll delete the emitter automatically, and you don't have to worry about it. I added triggers and stuff like that, so it can start encounters. So there are about 100 enemies alive right now. If I uncap the frame rate, I'm still getting a really high frame rate. All the enemies, all the projectiles. I also cached the projectile static collisions, so it never tests against the map. It just does one single cast when it first spawns, and it knows exactly how long until it explodes, assuming it's a linear projectile. And it allows for me to like just not have to check it every single frame, because if all 5 of those had to check and then all the enemies had to check, it would just take forever. So there's Gibbs. You can't really see the Gibbs just because the lighting here isn't great. But all the Gibbs are little rigid bodies. They get processed in a separate BVH. Oh, it's not even a BVH, it's just a list actually. But a separate place where no other physics things will see it because I don't want anything to interact with it, so it stays separated. And that helps keep the performance up. Actually, the slowest thing in this entire game is updating the skeletons of all the enemies. But that was the project. It's not super fun, but I'm happy with how it turned out. It looks like a functional demo that you'd see 20 years ago by somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. So there's some fun stats. The game itself is about 10,000 lines of code. The level editor is only about 900. The level editor was actually really easy. You're just reading a Quake map file. I think the biggest part of it is building the BVH, which is like 4 or 500 lines of code. And then I have my light map program, which is only 700 lines. It's actually really simple to make. And since I stripped out all the Raylib code that helped me visualize it, it's much smaller now. Some other fun facts is the entire res folder is less than 20 megabytes. Actually, the biggest thing in the game is the shadow map. It's about 4 megabytes for the entire map, which I really should compress it because I probably could make it look about the same, but be like 1/10 the size. I'm not very good about using GitHub. I didn't start it until pretty late into the project, but it's 96 commits over the span of like just under 3 months. Overall, it went pretty fast making this thing. I learned a lot for sure, and I guess I'll have to figure out what's next. All right, I lied. I know what's next, but I wanted to try and make a game that was actually fun instead of whatever the last one was. So I decided I'd use a couple more libraries. So this is using ImGUI to make a level editor. I'm using PhysX for the physics. My thing was cool, but there were a lot of problems with it, and I want to see if I can use a third-party thing for it. Right now you can paint the terrain because I want to have it be on a fairly big map because I want to look into like asynchronous streaming and more multi-threading related things. You can't add any game objects yet, even though I have the whole game object thing there. But we'll see what this turns into.